well over the weekend in the two talks, what I've realized is that those in the shadows who understand how the system works, they've hijacked the computer. They're dictating its sense of reality. They're programming the computer. Now, if you wanted to program a human computer system to see the world the way you want them to see it, then what would you say? You sit around a table. Well, I don't know if they'd agree to this because it's outrageous, but what if we could get them to agree to give us their children from a very early age and let us have control of what their children receive in terms of information and perception of possibility in themselves at least 5 days a week for their entire childhood and teenage years. During this, if they'd let us do that, then we at the end of it would turn out people who are programmed purely by repetition, never mind anything else, to see the world the way we want them to see it. And then, of course, once we've done that to a few generations of people, those people called parents will then pass on that programming to the next generation, and so it goes on and so it goes on. And so we have been subjected to mind programming over generation after generation after generation. So most people in the world already see the world the way those manipulating want us to see it. And therefore, they're not people who are making conscious decisions based on weighing up the situation. They are people who are merely following the programmed perception, thinking that they're coming to their own conclusions.
We are consciousness. We are infinite consciousness, where all that is, has been, and ever will be. And what we're doing is having an experience within this tiny frequency range called visible light. And we're having an experience. And what happens, because of the way the control system is set up, we are pressured from the moment we come from the womb to identify self with the vehicle, the body-mind, and forget that we are consciousness having an experience through the body-mind of this reality. It's a bit like sitting at the computer and going on the internet and then becoming the computer instead of the person sitting at the desk observing the internet through the computer. And it's this fundamental misunderstanding, programmed, encouraged, pressured misunderstanding of self-identity, of self, that holds humanity in servitude, going through its, quote, life, believing that it's its name, it's its job, it's its family, it's its race, it's its religion, when they're all just experiences. And I had this vision's a grand word, it's not a vision, pictures in my mind a little while ago. And it started off with, I saw billowing energy, which I immediately took to be consciousness, disembodied awareness, which is what we are. Then in this energy an eye appeared, and in front of the eye a telescope appeared, and at the other end of the telescope appeared the earth and the universe and what have you, this reality. And then the final movement was the telescope morphed into a human body, right? Which was incredibly profound. Because I would say this, you know, we talk about incarnating,
Yeah.
which gives the feeling of coming into something. We don't come into something. And then when we die, we go out. Well, these are all kind of illusions. We don't come in and we don't go out. We observe through the lens of the physical body. So if I sit at the computer and I observe the internet through the computer, when I get up and walk away, or whether I turn the computer off or whatever, I haven't moved. right? If you follow me, when I'm observing the internet, I'm sitting in the chair. I'm alive in this world. I have incarnated. And then I turn the computer off, still sitting in the chair. I've now died. He's died, he has, and it's sad. I haven't bloody moved, right? And this is what, the way I perceive it, and that this series of pictures I saw just confirmed it to me, that we as consciousness, who we really are, we don't go anywhere. We look through the telescope lens and observe this reality as an experience. Because, like I say, if I'm going on the internet, I can't just sit here and go on the internet. I need a conjurer, I need an interface to experience the internet. We call that a computer. Well, consciousness experiencing this virtual reality, which is what it is, quite provable fact, needs an interface, and it is the body-mind. I'm not David Icke. David Icke's my experience. I'm infinite consciousness, like you are and everyone else is. And so your consciousness is observing through this lens of the body into this reality. And what we call death, it's what I call putting the telescope down. You know, okay, I've had enough of that. He's died. No, he's just put the telescope down. Yeah. Consciousness hasn't gone anywhere. It's just ceasing to observe through the lens. But because of the way the illusion is constructed and the way we decode the illusion, we see things as going in and going out and moving around and having space between them and time and all the rest of it. They're just illusions, they're just experiences. And we've got caught in the illusion. And see, this global secret society network, which manipulates global events, is all based on manipulating humanity's perception of self in the world. And the reason it's a secret society network, and all the secret societies are fundamentally compartmentalized. I mean, even in a thing like the Freemasons, the vast majority of Freemasons are in the bottom 3 levels of degree. They don't know damn about what happens higher up. And those at the top of the Freemasons don't realize there's other levels above that no one tells them about, where only the chosen few go. And the reason there's all this compartmentalization of knowledge, which hoards the real advanced knowledge right at the top among the very few, is because there is held the knowledge of reality, the kind of understanding that I've just been describing. Now imagine if you know that's how reality is, and you get the people, because of the way you structure the education system and this, what we bravely call science and the media and all the rest of it, and religion, they think all this is real. They think this is who they are. They think that they see everything in terms of a partners instead of unity. You are in an incredible position of control because you understand reality, and the people you are controlling and manipulating have not got a clue what reality they're experiencing. I mean, we reach what we think is the cutting edge of human knowledge. It ain't really, it's not definitely, but it's what we perceive it to be. And you go, oh yeah, we fly to the moon and we got nanotechnology and it's really great. And then you stop someone and you say, who are you? Where are you? What are you doing here? What? And if they don't parrot some religious reaction to you, some religious belief system to you in answer to those questions, then they'll say, I don't know. We're at the cutting edge of human awareness in the 21st century as we perceive time. And we can't answer questions like, who are we, where are we, what are we doing here? What's going on? The reason we can't answer that, well, we can if we do the research and we open our consciousness, but the reason that vast numbers of people can't do that is because the control system is structured so that from cradle to grave that knowledge is kept from them, and the ability to expand consciousness and access their knowledge that way is suppressed and suppressed and suppressed and suppressed. But what's brilliant now is that this control system is losing control. It may seem to be getting more control with more legislation and more police imposition and militarization of the police and more data, more surveillance. Yeah, in the play-out world it seems to have more control. What it's losing control of is the fundamental foundation of its control, and that is the sense of human perception that we are what they tell us we are, instead of understanding what we really are. And the more that happens, the more the control system as it plays out in all those things will fall. Because it is going down. It's going to go forward for a few years yet. No, I don't have the illusions about that.
How long, David?
My view is, and I think 2012 is a diversion, personally, and I think you're going to see that exploited by Hollywood movies and other things.
See it already?
Yeah. Well, my feeling is around 2016, life in this reality is going to transform. And it's going to transform because this is a virtual reality, quite provable fact. You know, in the Matrix, where Neo says within a computer program, "This isn't real," and Morpheus says, "Well, what is real?"
Yes, yes.
If you're talking about what you can see, touch, taste, hear, feel, whatever, then real is just electrical signals interpreted by your brain, and that's what it is. You know, this reality seems to be outside of us. It only exists in here.
Yeah.
And then you can get deeper and you think, exist in where? And so what our reality is doing, or what this body computer is doing at this interface, is taking vibrational information, encoded in light, encoded in the photons of light. It's turning it into electrical information, same information, different form, passing it to the brain. The brain's decoding that information into what is a holographic, illusory 3D world that appears to be solid. And because it's illusory, you can start to see why quantum physics has this bewildering contradiction between the fact that they say the world is made up of atoms, this solid world, and yet they know that atoms have no solidity. Huh? How can that be? There is no contradiction. Atoms are not solid because they're not creating a solid world, because the world ain't solid, it's a construct. And this is what I suggest is we're heading towards in terms of something like around 2016, when this shift starts to take place, this firewall starts to break, and our perception of reality will transform, and also the energetic state that we are existing in will start to move. And we won't have to eat food anymore.
No.
We won't. The animals will not have to kill other animals anymore, because that is not the way it was meant to be. That's the way it has been manipulated to be, because of the state of awareness, for want of a word, awareness, of that which has imposed this sub-reality upon us. And the question then comes, unless there is some force, and there ain't, forcing consciousness to come experience this reality, then we're experiencing this reality in all its apparent limitations and challenges at this point because we chose to. Signs of life. Reading the signs of life. So here's a big, big sign of life. Why, when I'm infinite consciousness, all that is, has been, and ever will be, why is my point of awareness now where I am? Within this reality, experiencing what I'm experiencing. You're experiencing what you're experiencing. Everyone else is experiencing what they're experiencing. Why us now? Why? Because we chose to be here. So forget the fact that you're Charlie Jones working down the bank, or Ethel working down the store. No. That's your experience up to this point. Now, let's read the signs of life. We're here now for a reason. What is that reason? The reason is because at this massive point of change, we came to play a part in making it happen as smoothly as possible and bringing down this control system, breaking up the firewall. Oh dear, crikey, that's better. I am who I am, and I was before this perception hacker took over my sense of self. That's what we're here to do. And it's challenging and all the rest of it, but the more we come from the perspective of I am consciousness, having the experience rather than being the experience, the easier it will be. Because what's the worst that can happen?